Tony with 2 attempts. He clipped the bar, of course, with 1 header. Hard to see either coach making any changes at half-time, particularly because if it stays level after 90 minutes, of course, we'll have extra time, and who knows, maybe even a second-ever penalty shootout to decide a World Cup final. Let's review again the best moments of the first 45 minutes. Perfect conditions at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. Very, very warm despite the 8 o'clock kickoff time. It's local time, of course. 70,000 inside the ground, 1 billion there or thereabouts watching on television. And early on it was all pretty even. Real tactical battle between Dominic and Lippi. And then just 7 minutes in, Malouda burst into the box, Materazzi came across, and the Argentinian referee pointed straight to the penalty spot. It looked very harsh, but he had no doubts. Horacio Elizondo. Malouda, who's in a first-choice pick in this tournament for the French, burst into the box. Materazzi didn't appear to make too much contact. Cannavaro was the defender on the other side, but it was Materazzi who was the player penalised. And Zinedine Zidane, how about this for being called in a World Cup final? Clearly over the line. How much nerve and how much confidence in your own ability do you have to take a penalty in that fashion? Unbelievable. Clearly over the line. Actually hit the bar twice. Astonishing enough. Once there, and it bounced up and hit the bar again, but it was well over the line. That's what Buffon saw. He went the wrong way. Zidane now, having scored in 2 World Cup finals, scored twice in '98 against the Brazilians. The Italians' response, though, was swift. Pirlo's corner, and Materazzi climbing to power home the equaliser. It's his second in the tournament, and don't forget, he wasn't even a regular starter coming into the event. Alessandro Nesta's injury has had him elevated into the starting 11, and he's taken full advantage. It was a terrific header. Vieira couldn't live with him in the air. A goal coming on 19 minutes, tying the game up at 1 apiece. No chance, Fabian Barthez. And that was the reaction from the Italian bench. Absolute ecstasy. Nearly got a second. Luca Toni clipping the top of the crossbar from another Pirlo delivery. Terrific lead. French very fortunate. Thuram was the player who couldn't get to him that time, causing France all sorts of problems from set plays. The French managed to get to half-time without any further alarms. Thierry Henry had a couple of interesting moments up front for Les Bleus, but it's become a little bit like a chess match in the last 15 minutes of that first half. All very cagey, and at half-time, with Zidane's penalty equalised by Materazzi, we're all square at 1-1. Zinedine Zidane captaining his side tonight in his final game as a professional, remember, and desperate to go out on a high. It looked like he might when the penalty went in, until Italy clawed their way back into the game. Still might be Zidane's night. Fabien Barthez, I think, had no chance with the goal. Let's review France's best moments in the first half. Well, it was a very, very worrying beginning when Thierry Henry, sustaining a real freak injury in that clash with Fabio Cannavaro, looked pretty innocuous at first, but Henry was apparently near unconsciousness. And they had a long, long look at him, first on the pitch and then afterwards. This is the penalty. Now, we've circled the area where there may have been some contact. If there was, it was minimal. It looked as though Materazzi was trying to get out of the way, but he's just flicked one leg onto the other. I think that's what's happened. But you have to say very, very harsh. And what about that for a cheeky penalty in a World Cup final? He buried a penalty in the semi against Portugal, rather more conventionally. And if Buffon reckoned he'd learnt something from that, He was mistaken. No question that the ball across the line. France pressing again. We didn't see too much of Thierry Henry. Lovely turn there, but Cannavaro got back and got the challenge in. France will need to get Henry back into the game, or more into the game, to give themselves the best possible chance. There are Zinedine Zidane's stats. 1 goal, of course, we saw that from the spot. 19 passes, and he's completed the vast majority of them. Well, during half-time, Placido Domingo, the legendary tenor, has been entertaining the crowd. Let's enjoy a little bit of his musical magic. Carry on with the vocal calls. We'll have a look at Italy's contribution for that first 45 minutes. Started off pretty physical, didn't it? Gianluca Zambrotta hurtling into Patrick Vieira in a position where he didn't really need to make the challenge. That got him a very early booking. Maybe set the tone after just, what, 2 or 3 minutes of the game. And Willy Sagnol fighting back for the French with a risque tackle of his own. A little bit two-footed, although he didn't make complete contact with his man. This is the goal from Materazzi.
even Filippo Inzaghi's got 4 strikers to choose from.
Well, one thing that the Italians did when they named their squad, when Lippi named his squad, he certainly made sure he had plenty of firepower in there. And talking about firepower, there is one such player there we saw initially for France, Thierry Henry, who provides just that for them.
Marcello Lippi isn't crying, I assure you there. He's perspiring, and it was very warm down on the pitch before the game. Much to discuss for Messrs Henry and Thuram there. We'll see also the various substitutes, some of whom haven't even played a part in this World Cup. The likes of Pascal Chimbonda, Jean-Alain Boumsong, Gaël Givet on the French bench. They haven't had a kick between them. And Alou Diarra, he's had only about 15 minutes of play as well. For the Italians, you can't imagine them bringing on defenders, but I can see them bringing on at least 2 of those 4 strikers I mentioned.
Well, one thing Italy have done in this tournament is they've been a lot more positive and a lot bolder going forward than I've ever seen them before, and it certainly has paid dividends so far.
Remember, only Brazil has won more titles than Italy. Brazil winning 5 World Cups, Italy winning 3. Can they go on and make it 4? In this great stadium, which has been reconstructed, of course, in the last couple of years, specifically for this World Cup final.
وباقي المخضرمين الطليان كونتي تارديلي روسي التوبيلي شيريا بيرجومي كابريني حقوا لقب كأس العالم 82 لما خرجت لاكازيت